Now we're going to talk about reader teams. There's a lot that goes into running a reader team, so let's just get started and jump right in. Taking a look at the reader teams section, we'll see there are a number of tabs. Details lets you set up everything about this reader team, including how the application page will be presented. The Readers tab will show you all of your readers, see if they've posted reviews or not, and allow you to approve, decline, or ban them. Reader responses to your questions is there if you've posed a list of questions in the details section. We'll get to that later. Open issues is where you'll see a list of problems your readers have submitted, typos, grammar mistakes, character oopsies, etc. And closed issues is the list of items you've already fixed from your reader reports. To get everything started though, we need to worry about the details section. The first thing of note on this page is the Reader Team Share link. This is the link you're going to be handing out to people so that they can apply to your reader team. We'll take a look at what that page looks like shortly. The Reader Team Announcements section is where you can type up a message for your readers. It will show up at the top of your page in the reader's view. The next section covers all of the management options for your reader team. First, we're going to start with accepting applications. It's exactly what you might think. If set to yes, readers who click the Reader Team Share link will be allowed to apply to your book. If set to no, they'll get a message that says you're no longer accepting applications. This is important because you may have a link floating around on the internet for months and months, so be sure to close your applications once you've got the right number of people for your team. Accepting issue reports allows you to control if readers are able to submit issues or not. As a rule of thumb, I set a deadline for this so that I can fix all the issues before sending it off to my editor. Next up are the dates that go along with the reader team. The book delivery date is when you plan on sending the book to the team. The issues report date is when you expect the team to finalize submitting any issues they may have found. And the reviews date is when you should expect readers to review your book on the various services you publish on. This next section is going to cover the communications medium. It should be noted that ReaderLinks is not intended as a communications tool. Since ReaderLinks requires a Facebook login, we find that the best method of managing communications and fostering relationships with the reader team is to create a temporary Facebook group that is specific to the book you're working on. We also recommend that you require your team members to join that group before they're given access to your book files. This way you can ensure that you'll be able to contact your team as needed. Yes, you can use the announcement part above, but we found that it's not nearly as effective as an open dialogue in a Facebook group. You may also put in an email for members to use if you want to give them the option of contacting you privately. At this stage of your book publishing process, you may or may not have a book cover. If you do, you can put the link in here, and that cover will be shown on your ReaderLinks application page and also on your ReaderLinks team members page. Note that ReaderLinks does not allow uploads to our system, so you will need to house your image on your own website or some other repository. If you don't have a cover yet, ReaderLinks will just put the title of your book on a black background. The download URL allows you to set how users can get your book. We personally use BookFunnel for this, but you can set up any URL you wish. If you decide to go with an email or some other method, you can either post that on your reader announcement section above, or you can post it in your temporary reader Facebook group for this book. The book description is what your readers will see on the application page. Most of the time, you're going to know who the readers are that you're working with, so you may not worry about crafting your final description here, but at least provide a little something to let them know what this book is about. This is especially important if you don't yet have a book cover. The next section we're going to talk about are the terms for your reader team. These terms allow you to tell potential applicants what they can expect to get, what you expect from them, and any additional information that you want to provide. Remember that ReaderLinks is not responsible for enforcing any of your terms. This is completely up to you. As you enter in these items, please put them in one per line. Now you'll notice that some of these look to have wrapped, and that's true. They will wrap as you continue typing, but after each line, go ahead and press the Enter key to ensure that they're in there properly. Now there's more stuff down here that we'll cover in a second, but let's go ahead, and we've covered enough right here just so we can set up our application page. So let's go ahead and click the link for our share to our team link, and let's see what that looks like. So this is what a reader is going to be looking at. We have the cover, the name of the book, the name of the author, any description that you may have entered, what is in it for the reader if they join up, what you expect of them, and any additional information. One of the things that I tend to put in here is to give them an idea and the additional information of when they should expect the book to come to them and so on. Now, yes, we did put that in the calendar, but they're not going to see the calendar yet until they have actually been approved for the team. So this gives your reader the option to look at this and say, can they actually meet the deadline requirements that you're giving to them ahead of time before they apply? So again, this is just my methodology. You can go ahead and choose as you wish. When they click the apply, it's going to tell them that the author has been notified, and so they'll go ahead and click close, and it'll take them back to the main page. And on this page, they'll be able to see the book, and they'll be able to see that they are waiting for you to approve them. So if we go over here to the reader link section now, we can see that we have one reader who is awaiting approval. If we click on that, we can see that it's AAA Test Reader, which is just the account that I set up for myself, so I could have that here. And then it will tell us like the status, they're awaiting approval. The Facebook group status, this is only if you're requiring them to be on the Facebook group, and whether or not they have reviewed the book, which obviously since they haven't even been approved, there's no way they could have at this point. So we're going to say, click on the View Reader, and now we're going to see some additional information about this reader. We're going to see that they have a history with us, so this is good information. We can see that they've worked on one of our other books called The Unexpected Fugitive. They have a verified purchase review, so on Amazon, which means if they may review, but they might have said in exchange for a free copy, they provided an honest review, for example, which is fine, and then you would just not put that the checkbox that says that they actually did purchase the book. So this is something that just allows you to see whether or not it's a verified purchase review or not. And it also tells you which sites that they put this on. And then you have marked it, or I have marked this as a verified review, meaning that I went out and actually verified that this person did in fact put this on here. Now, since this is a test account, obviously this is just dummy data. And then it shows you what the actual review was that they had. Okay. So at this point, I look at the history and I say, well, this person's definitely participated in the past, so I'm going to go ahead and say approved. But I'm not going to change their Facebook group status because I want to make sure that they join the Facebook group. So I'm going to go ahead and click Update Reader. I'm going to say yes, I'm sure. And it's going to come back here and note that they are approved, but they still haven't joined the Facebook group. So as we come back over here and take a peek, we are now we're acting as the reader, which is highly recommended, by the way, that you do this. So you just click on it and pretend that you're the reader to see what they have to go through and how they would work with your book. So when I clicked back on Home, now it has this Go to Reader area. When I click on that, it's going to say this author is requiring that all team members join the Facebook group for this book. So I still have one more step to do. So I would click on this link and it would take me to that Facebook group, and then I would apply. Now, as the author, I would see that on Facebook, I would approve that person, and then I would come back over here to readers, or maybe what I would do is come over here to readers and make sure that this person is on this list. If they are, then I would approve them on Facebook, and then I would also come in here and approve them here and say, okay, this person has joined. And so now you can see that they have joined and that they've been approved. This person is all set and ready to go. So now when the next time the reader comes to this page and they click on Go to the Reader area, they will be able to see everything. They're going to see the calendar of when the book is due to them. They're going to be able to see when the issue reports are due, when the book review is due. They can see a direct link here to jumping to this Facebook group. They can grab the download of the book. They can see the questions that I may have asked, and then they can go ahead and answer those questions. If they click on Ask the Author a Question, I'm telling them they have to post in Facebook group. If you set an email, it will also say, or you can contact the author directly via email. They can go here to add book issue reports. They can submit a review, and these links will automatically be provided to them once you, as the author, set your ASIN values or your Goodreads values, everything, any distribution channel that you may use. These will automatically be provided on this. So that way the author can very easily, the reader can very easily just click on a link and it will open up the review page for them so they can go ahead and move forward with things. So that's pretty much how that particular piece works. So now let's talk about the questions for your readers. Basically, you can ask any questions that you want, and it would be on one per line. So again, it might wrap, but go ahead and press the enter key at the end of each line. If you leave this blank, reader will simply see a message that there are no questions for them at this time. But that's how you're going to ask them questions. And if you notice here, again, these are the same two questions there that you see right here. And each one of them is on their own line because I pressed enter after each one. Okay. And then finally, we're going to talk about the chapters for the issue reports. This is a key component to managing issue reports. You can list all of your chapters out however you want from your book. So you can have like chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, or maybe you just do 1, 2, 3, or you do it like I do where you actually name each chapter. However you do it, it's completely up to you. But you would put them each on one individual line, and you should take your time to do this very carefully, because if the way this is set up, if you change the order of these at some point, it's going to mess all of your issue reports up. If you change the names of these, it's going to mess your issue reports up. So you want to be very careful about this and be very picky about it, because ReaderLinks is going to be picky about it too. So just take your time with that. At this point, you can now come up here. We've already talked about the readers. So now let's come up here and look at the reader responses to your questions. So now we can see all of the responses that I have received for the two questions that I asked, which means I can use this for data mining, which is great. We can look at the open issues, but there's really not much to talk about right here because I've already closed all the issues for this one. However, if we click on the closed issues, we can see all of the issues that were reported before. And yes, there are a lot of them for this particular book. And what we do is we go to the chapter section. Obviously, 250 issues is very unmanageable when you're trying to edit them over the course of each chapter. So what you can do is you go to each chapter and you click on that chapter. Now you're only seeing the issues for that particular chapter. That's one of the primary reasons why you want to verify that you're putting all of your chapters in here. And of course the other one is from the reader side, because when the reader goes to enter in an issue, which we'll give a demonstration here, they're going to want to choose which chapter that the issue is in, and more so, they're going to want to look at the issues already reported for that chapter to make sure that there is not a duplicate for it. And so that is the primary functionality behind the Reader Team Management tool. Again, we do highly recommend that you work with a Facebook temporary group to manage your communications back and forth. We've found that that's the best method for doing all of your communications and so on. It gets messages to people right away, and you can see how the interaction is going there as well. And with that, we wish you luck running your reader team on ReaderLinks, and we hope that you find it as useful as we have during our book launches.